Wir sind hier auf der MagicCon in Amsterdam und ich habe mir gerade hier Assassin's Creed Booster gesnatcht. Aber wir gehen jetzt zuerst einmal nach hinten zu den Machern von Wizards of the Coast und werden mit denen kurz ein bisschen quatschen. Let's go! Hi, guys. Can you shortly introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, I'm Stephanie Cheung. I'm an art director on Universes Beyond, and I worked on Assassin's Creed.
Hi, I'm Bowen. I'm a senior game designer at Wizards working on Magic, and I was the lead game designer for this Assassin's Creed set here.
Okay, jumping straight in. How did this collaboration start exactly?
You mind if I keep taking this question?
You love it. You do great.
Yeah, so we have our VP of franchise. Our VP of franchise used to be at Ubisoft, so we had a connection with them. Assassin's Creed was very eager to reach out and expand their media. At the same time, Magic is also very eager to reach out and work with different partners on different universes. So it was kind of a case of both parties being eager to work with other partnerships and us already having a connection that led the way there.
Okay, and so we now have mainly the characters from the game and weapons and stuff. Were there any rules from Ubisoft side and from your side what you want to implement into the game?
So on our end, Ubisoft was very trusting of us. We would kind of develop what we thought was a bunch of concepts that we enjoyed and that we thought was the cool kind of greatest hits and what we want to translate into Magic and present it to them. Here are the mechanics, here are the cards, what do you think? And their job was to essentially advise us and make sure that we have the DNA of the game correct, and they said, you have the DNA of the game correct, you're doing well, add more hidden blades. So we did. Is there anything on the art side?
Less more on the art. For the art side, it was mostly about ensuring that the assassins were recognizable. So it was a lot of likeness, but for the most part, because their references were so detailed and high quality, it was hardly ever an issue. It was very, very easy to work with, and their pointers are always so appreciated and insightful about. Especially with video games, the silhouette of a character, their pose, their attitude was there's sometimes the subtle touches that we could even miss as an artist and as an art director, and they were always willing to give us the nudge and the suggestions in the right direction.
And do you play yourself Assassin's Creed and stuff?
Yeah, I am an avid video gamer. The first game was my favorite. I remember playing it for the first time, and I was just so blown away with a action adventure game set within the Middle East, which was so kind of unheard of at the time. So it definitely left a mark on me. And then I took a break due to console availability for me at the time. And then I jumped back in for Odyssey, and that was I played 60 hours of that. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up when the games were coming out, and I really enjoyed the original trilogy. I enjoyed whenever they would add multiplayer, but in general, I'm a huge stealth fan and stealth game fan. And whenever when I got on this set, they gave me I got 6 different titles from the more recent eras that I'd missed, and I got to play through some of them and kind of figure out what's going on here, what's the core fun here.
And so, speaking of art direction, were there any help from the side of Ubisoft? Did you get any artworks and stuff to work with? And also, how did you manage the colors? You have Ezio is, I think it's white,
Ezio
black, white, or?
Depends.
We have many iterations of Ezio. There is a blue-black Ezio. There is a mono-black Ezio with 5 colors in its text box, and we have a red-white hybrid Ezio that represents him before he's an assassin, when he's just a little punk.
For on the art directing side, separate from the color pie and the color identity, Ubisoft did not really have any requests for Color Beyond. Amar mentioning he just wanted a blue and black assassin at some point, but for the most part, they were very trusting on us about knowing how we were going to design them. From the visual side, there wasn't too much to worry about, just because the references were very high quality. There were no questions to be asked. A lot of it was just ensuring that I had the eye for detail to make sure our artists were hitting that mark, and they did.
And from the magic point of view, how do you feel having real characters like Leonardo da Vinci and other characters in the game? Isn't that something like breaking the fourth wall or something?
Yeah, it was a little. It was a challenge. There was a lot of conversation back and forth on if we even should do it. How would we best execute on doing it? Who would we do it for if we can? Are there restrictions? Are there people we want to avoid? Are there people with real life estates we would have to think about? At the end of the day, our guiding light was we want to make Leonardo da Vinci. He's such a prominent character in the game. And also, these cards, to some extent, represent the expression of these characters through Assassin's Creed. If you look at the designs, they're how they look in Assassin's Creed. That's why Leonardo da Vinci looks so young and attractive, essentially. So I think we did a really good job showing off cards that have the personality of both the characters in the game, but also retain what you know of them throughout history.
And concerning the real life part of the game, so you have the Desmond part where you go into the Animus. Were there any considerations having the bad guys like Abstergo in it, or it's just the people you wanna kill in the artworks?
My philosophy on Universes Beyond typically is that we wanted the protagonists, right? Desmond, Layla, and Sean and Rebecca play such a huge role, but as far as a lot of the antagonists are like guys in suits, I like to avoid guys in suits. I don't know what their power suite are, and I think they make a little bit boring magic cards. I also think that, through Assassin's Creed titles, I strongly believe that when you play an Assassin's Creed game, you are taking away a lot from the heroes, and you're not taking that much away from the villains. So I didn't mind not having a lot of Abstergo. We still have, there's a card called Abstergo Entertainments showing off that kind of angle of it. So I don't think we did too bad. Do you have any opinions on this?
I have opinions on this. I mean,
You can say no.
it's about the balance of like the villains and the choice to focus on assassins.
Some of the modern day era, we played with Desmond, with Layla, but we didn't play with, I don't even remember their names.
Yeah. I think it was like important about balancing the content in the game. Like we talked about, like kind of the experience where like this is a meta, a game within a game. It's like there's like a bit of meta, but that isn't the core of what Assassin's Creed is. Like, that isn't a pillar of the game itself. It is a feature of it that is like part of the storytelling. So like I think we included the right amounts and the amounts that were important.
Yeah. Yes. Jumping off of what you're saying, Stephanie, like there was a point where actually Sean and Rebecca were even separate cards, but we had all those characters, and we kind of recognized this idea that we wanted to scale back on how much modern day. We wanted to make sure our modern day card count was a lower number, a little bit of a lighter touch. So even then, the answer could be there was no room for the villains. We thought the protagonists were cooler.
And you spoke about the abilities. I saw there's Eagle Vision as a separate card and Free Running as an ability. How did you decide which is what? And I mean, you could have Eagle Vision as an ability, right?
Yeah. Free running, playing through the games, gaming IPs are, sorry, I'm rambling a little. Gaming IPs are so interesting. When you're making like Lord of the Rings, you are trying to get all of the story content. But as a reader, you're really immersed in the story. When you're making Assassin's Creed sets, the story is huge. There's so much going on. But, if we were just to take everything narratively, it would have felt very different. But if you play the games, what are you doing in the games? You're activating Eagle Vision. You're running on buildings. You're climbing towers to expand your mini-map. Like, those aren't in the narrative per se, but they're huge core parts of playing. The experience of Assassin's Creed is seeing all these rendezvous, distracting guards, doing these assassinations, pickpocketing people. And in that sense, we wanted to make, we knew that a lot of our instant sorceries would be those actions that you're doing. Those are the fun action moments that aren't just, stabbing people 400 times. We have, the Eagle Vision as an action, and we wanted to make the free running mechanic to give a cohesive through line through all those to explain that, yep, that's what these are doing, what these are expressing. These are all things that you're doing on the move, in a sense, if you're in stealth or you're running away or you're engaging in combat. and we thought that we just kind of picked some that we thought made sense, some actions, try to make sure we got some really notable terms that maybe you would see throughout the games, not just in one game.
And you spoke about the game itself. I just opened up a pack down at the con. You have a mini game inside the booster packs. Can you talk about it?
So there's a couple mini games in the booster packs. We kind of started this set off with this idea that there was no play experience, and it was kind of almost a challenge of like, we're building a charming booster pack. We want the booster pack to be fun. What is that? Towards the end, I think, there was more of an appetite to include some of those booster mini games. We have those in some of our other packs and our other sets quite frequently. I believe there's 3 or 2 mini games. One of them is like a open your pack and try to tell a story with your pack mini game. I think one of them is like a guess the card kind of assassin mini game, and I don't remember the third one. It's been a year. But when we're making a pack that is like all about this charm and all about this like small condensed booster that's full of all this rich stuff, I think there's some fun exploration to do in mini games like that, and if we have future sets that do this kind of setup and strategy, I would love to explore more in that mini game space.
Okay, closing question on the art side. What do you personally want to see next for Universe Beyond, especially from Ubisoft?
Oh, from Ubisoft. I mean, I would just be down to do something with shadows. That would be so cool. Like, honestly, just being able to work with Ubisoft again on anything would just be a dream. They were such a lovely, understanding, and amazing partner to work with. I would work on anything with them. But shadows would be cool. Shadows would be dope.
Raving rabbits. I feel the same.
Okay, guys, thank you very much, and enjoy the con.